Hi, welcome. I'm Jessie Walters from Charles Rutenberg. I'm here today with Stephen Williams, attorney at law, and he's going to talk to us about how to title your actual properties when you're purchasing them, or if you already have rental properties, we're going to talk about that too. So stay tuned, and we're also going to talk with the SPCA. So anyway, he's here today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jessie, for inviting me.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, please.
Steve, I went official on you.
Please, yes, don't.
Yeah.
That brings back a memory from my childhood. And I'll tell you about that another time. So
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want any type of PSD.
That was what my mother
PTSD.
said when she was mad at me.
Oh,
So,
okay, yeah.
Please.
Okay, no problem.
Right before the discipline.
So we're here today, and we're talking about purchasing and titling homes. Is because being a realtor, a lot of people want to know what's the best way to title my home. Whether it's to avoid probate, whether it's to make sure the other spouse is okay, whether it's to just different ways to protect someone as far as rentals, stuff like that. So my first question for you is, just a normal person with title, is it okay just to put that in a husband and wife's name, or a husband's name, or a wife's name? I know we just discussed this.
Well, we were talking about this just a minute ago.
Yes.
And trust is a big factor.
Yeah.
A lot of the clients that I represent, when it comes to buying a home together, they've been married 40, 50 years.
Right.
So trust is not an issue. So titling the property joint tenants is a real good way to handle that transaction. When one spouse dies, then the other spouse automatically becomes owner of it. It's called tenancy by entireties,
Right.
which is how husbands and wives own property in Florida. But there's a trust factor.
Right.
Even if there's not ownership as tenancy by entireties, there's still the surviving spouse gets to live in the house the rest of their life anyhow. So there's some protection, even if
that's
they don't
good.
deed it that way.
Right.
And then there's others. There's tenancy in common, which is whichever spouse lives, the one that dies is able to will their property to somebody else.
Oh, okay.
The other person still owns half of that property.
Right.
So there's a couple of options, and there's a ladybird deed that would apply to, and we can talk about that later on.
Yeah,
That's a
so
little
I always
different
say that's why a lot of, I want to mention names, but a lot of people that may let's just call them sketchy, have moved to Florida and purchased a home and put it in their name, the home's in their name, and because in the state of Florida, you're protected, right, your homestead property, except from the IRS?
Well,
Am I
not
right?
just the IRS, it's from your creditors.
Right.
Florida has an unlimited homestead exemption from creditors, with the exception, and a lot of folks don't know this, there's something called the 1,215-day rule, which if you move into Florida and you purchase a house within 1,215 days of becoming insolvent, your creditors, just sort of a brief overview, your creditors may have the ability to sell that house to pay their claims.
Okay.
So there's an exception that a lot of folks don't know about. It's a federal bankruptcy. It's in the federal bankruptcy code, and people who have creditors' claims against them, their creditors can put them into bankruptcy involuntarily, which would now make the house susceptible to being taken by the creditors to pay their claims.
Okay, so when you're saying the 1,215-day, you're saying they have 1,215 days to make claim on it?
No, say they lived in Georgia,
Yeah.
and they moved to Florida, and they were insolvent when they moved to Florida, and they moved to Florida to claim the unlimited homestead exemption.
Right.
And they sold a house in Georgia, and they bought a house in Florida for a couple $100,000, and they have this big equity cushion.
Right.
But they owe some creditors from Georgia. The Georgia creditor could come domesticate their judgment in Florida, and then because that house was purchased within 1,215 days and they were insolvent at the time that they purchased the house, the creditor could sell the house to pay their judgment, to pay their claim.
Right.
So that's they'd have put them into bankruptcy, and the bankruptcy court would liquidate would sell the house, and then that would get their claim paid.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's kind of a little nuance that if you're not careful about, can be a trap.
Right. Yeah, so if you need help with that, if you're just moving here, you're the person to call.
Yes.
Gotta call you.
I kind of do a lot of different things. So
Yeah, you're like, I
help you
might
out
know a
there.
little bit about that, a little something about that. Yeah, so that's interesting. So now, a lot of times when they're, if it's, say, for instance, you got your deed, you just purchased your home, and then you get married after, that's not a marital asset. Then you have that home prior. Is that correct? Is
That's
my
correct.
assumption?
That's
Okay.
correct.
So you have that home. You homesteaded it. it's it's on your deed, you get married, and now that person doesn't automatically become, in the state of Florida, doesn't automatically get 50% of the house. It's as it's deeded because you had it prior to marriage.
That's right. There's a section in the Florida statutes, and it's, coincidentally enough, I did a lot of this too, divorce when I first started practicing.
Oh, okay.
Chapter 61.075 of the Florida Code
Just happen to know the code.
talks about marital assets.
It's in my back pocket.
Talks about marital assets. I did a lot of divorces.
Yeah.
Talks about marital assets, and the definition of a marital asset is an asset that's acquired during the marriage.
Right.
So if the asset was acquired prior to marriage, then it's not a marital asset. Normally, it wouldn't be subject to distribution. However, appreciation of the asset that results as marital labor,
right,
that is a marital asset. So if you put a roof on the house, you use joint marital assets to pay for that roof increased the value of the house, that increase in value is a marital asset subject to distribution.
Right.
So you got to be careful about
prior.
making sure you segregate repairs on the house if you owned it prior to marriage, and you don't want it to become subject to marital distribution.
Right. Well, the only, as far as like most of my stuff, obviously I'm not going backwards, I'm going forward because being a realtor. So I'll sell a house and then we'll have a, like for instance, the wife will have really good credit and the husband will have really bad credit, or vice versa. So we'll put the home in one name and they're married. So I tell them, and which I believe to be correct, that in the state of Florida, you guys are both protected, but we have to put it in wife's name because you have bad credit.
Yes.
We can always add you to the deed later, you know.
Sure, if it was acquired during the marriage, it's a marital asset.
Right, okay.
Interesting thing is, though, Jess, if I can ask you this, I've been told that getting pre-approved for credit is something that realtors are really cautious about before they start showing properties to buyers. Is that right?
Yeah, you want to. So I, for instance, I got an offer yesterday.
I'm asking the question. Sorry, I don't mean to take over.
I got a property under. Well, I have a bunch of listings. Got one yesterday, and the first thing I ask for is either A, proof of funds or pre-approval, and then you break it down if you have more than one. Of course, cash, they always say cash is king when you get offers in, if it's a good offer. But the second would be the pre-approval, which is the mortgage pre-approval. And then I'll look at what's the lender. Is it, John Smith lending company I never heard of, or is it, not to throw it out there, but is it BB&T? BB&T, I know I know that bank, what I mean? I've done work with that bank. So, so it kind of, which lender it is, but I'll actually ask for that. I want to see eyes on that so then I can tell my seller, yeah, we can pull this off the market safely. They're already pre-approved, and sometimes I'll nose around with, how long have they been at their job? Just questions that it's not that I'm trying to get into their business, but I just need to make sure that they're secure for my seller.
Sure. If the seller's going to take the property off the market. And, and cash is cash, right?
Yeah. Cash is literally, I have to see the proof of funds, like with my own eyes. I have to. I mean, some realtors will go, if you say you have it, then I believe you. But
you want to see a statement.
Yeah, because I'm saying yes, they have the money. I'm telling my seller, and so I say cross out your account numbers, cross out. You can just leave your address on there, which is on the contract anyway. But I want to see the actual proof of funds if it's cash, or the pre-approval letter. What loan it is on the pre-approval letter, how much they're putting down, and then I know how if they're like on the contract. The front page has the actual, again, the pre-approval should match the front page of the contract. So if it's 5% down conventional loan, then I know that if it's $200,000, I want to see that they're bringing 10 grand to the table. And then that 10 grand, I want to see proof of funds too. So you got to check, only because, like I said, you're taking it off the market, and your seller will want to kill you if you mess that up.
This is a hot market.
Yeah. So and then. When things are on the market too long, people are like, it's a hot market. Why isn't it selling? You know what I mean? Why is it back on the market? And so, it's a tough, it's tough I have a bunch of buyers who are, all waiting. They're all like.
For properties.
Yeah. They're all in running position.
For listings.
Yeah. So like we go right out, and then we'll have a cash buyer beat us out. Or, or if you have home sale contingencies.
Because that can close quicker.
Yeah. Cash can be in 2 weeks, Yeah. It's the title work. We just have to wait on title, which we plug Nightberry Title. Nightberry Title Services sponsor. Good. Yeah. So they usually get it done fast if it's cash. I have a couple of cash transactions right now, and they're on it, So as fast as the buyers can get that cash to us, and as fast as they can, get that title work done, because you don't want to buy anything anywhere without title, title
I'm curious. Have you talked with any buyers or any sellers about whether or not they'll accept Bitcoin?
You know what? I haven't had anybody with Bitcoin purchases yet. Like I haven't had any proof of funds with Bitcoin. I mean, that'd be interesting. I like all new stuff. I've been doing it 16 years, and so anything new with Bitcoin, that would be interesting to see. I mean, that could be a good proof of funds if, because, I could figure that out, with you have this many shares.
Yeah,
then I'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
or you have a quarter of a quarter of a quarter of a share.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming a payment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they try to do it with the euro, but Bitcoin's been successful. So.
Yeah. I remember there were some models up in New York that wanted to be paid with euros.
Yeah.
But that never really took off.
Yeah. Well, because, the conversion rates is that's a whole nother show. But the conversion rates, when your pounds are, at the time, what was it?
Well,
almost $2 to $1, and then the euro comes in and it's 1.
You want volatility?
Yeah.
Look at Bitcoin.
Yeah, I know.
That's talk about conversion.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't even remember what it is.
1 minute you're at 40,000.
Yeah, 54.
Yeah,
54.
Yeah,
I know.
phenomenal.
I know. My daughter's like, I want to take all my savings and buy Bitcoin. I was like, we need to have a talk. She's 16. I was like, that's a good goal, but I don't think you'd be buying a Bitcoin. You'd be buying. That's why I said a quarter of a quarter of a quarter.
Slice.
Yeah. Yeah, a little
Which you
drop.
can do.
Yeah, that's a good goals, But yeah, I haven't had that. I've had, we've had assets as far as, people wanting to trade things. Back more in like 2004, 2005. That was also a time when, like after everything crashed, there was also a time when the builders would put new cars in the garages. Yeah. So you had some small builders as incentive would put, because nothing was moving. So you'd be like, this is for sale with a new car,
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. So we had, but they're not allowed to be part of the loan. And that's why, there was the crash and stuff too, because they, now you're not allowed to have, and some new builders with the refrigerators and stuff, they'll say the refrigerator's separate because, if your house gets repoed, they strip out everything. The first thing that goes is pretty much the refrigerator and the, But that was like, again, that was a long time ago, but they would
rip long ago they were taking the copper.
Yeah. Yeah. I went to sell a house, totally off subject, but I went to sell a house right here in Embassy Hills, and they, the Smith family, and we were just about to have a home inspection, and the the electrical guy went up in the attic just to make sure, because he was giving us a price, because it needed a new panel. So they said, that's okay, we can afford the new panel. He got up in the attic, and he said that someone had gone in each wall and ripped out everything. So it turned from a $5,000 or $3,000, $5,000 panel turned into the whole house had to be rewired. So we, of course, released from the contract and canceled that out. But it was just like, oh my gosh, crazy. But
And
they
that
would
wasn't
take,
that long ago.
No, they would take, right now they do, and there's no area that's safe for like stealing air conditions and stuff like that.
Still?
Yeah, and squatters are really popular in 2020, 2021. This has been the year of squatters in some nice neighborhoods too.
Interesting you mention that, because I've done more lawsuits to get possession of property for squatters than I've probably done in my whole career.
Yeah.
This back in 2020.
I did too in 2020 myself.
Did you?
Just to, because I like to do all the paperwork just to see, and I didn't know that if they actually, registered their taxes at the house, like registered themselves as far as voters, then they're considered, the one lady was in a shed. And
that made a difference?
Yeah. Yeah, the judge said, she wrote a letter. All of a sudden, she didn't know anything, but all of a sudden when it came to it, she knew everything. She wrote the letter, said that she has been there for 6 months in the shed, and the neighbor threw him a line of electric. So I stopped in there and I was like, you actually did, for a shed, it's pretty, she did a pretty good job in there and stuff, but I was like, you can't stay here. I understand,
So you did an unlawful detainer?
Yeah. Yeah, and the unlawful detainers, they still were going, and and it
worked, right?
Yeah, the judge called me on the phone, and she didn't call in, and so they said, okay, she's not.
You can't lose if the opponent doesn't show up.
Yeah, exactly.
You better not lose anyhow.
Yeah, I know. What did you do if you lost, right?
Yeah, I always worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah, some people can lose even if there's not an opponent.
If I lose without an opponent, that's a bad day.
Yeah, we're not running, right? Yeah, so it was funny because when he called me, it was literally like, raise your right hand, and I was not chuckling, but in my head, I was kind of like, this is hilarious because I'm on the phone. But we did it right there, and we had the lady taking notes on the phone too, and then she didn't call. But the other one, she didn't write a letter, so it was literally
That was easy.
Yeah. Yeah, she broke into a house and busted all the back windows open on this other one. And I was like, I met her and I said, why did you bust all the windows? Because if you just had to get in, why didn't you just bust one window? But now they have to put in 5 windows. Like, why would you bust all of them? And she was like, I don't know. And I, like,
There's a lot of mental health issues
there
involved
is.
with the folks that are doing that.
Yeah, you can't reason with them, you know.
And that's something that we're missing, quite frankly. We're providing a lot of care to these folks, or providing a lot of resource to these folks, but we're not providing them with the
Mental
care that
health.
they really need, which is the real issue.
Yeah, and I try to find humor in everything. It's only like when you're dealing with it, like face to face with the people, that you're kind of like, but most of them have been
When you've got
off.
an owner that wants them out, there's not much humor.
Yeah,
in
no,
my experience.
Yeah, no, I know, yeah.
They just want to know when's the writ of possession.
Yeah, and I was like, well, it takes 3 to 6 months, you know, but 3 months, if you're on top of it, you can get them out. If they don't write that letter, they write that letter, you get the stretch of 3 months. It was faster than a normal eviction, I found, you know.
Really? Fastest eviction I ever did was 20 days.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, what I do is I will take the judgment of possession, once the judge signs it, personally deliver it over to the sheriff's office to get
That's
the
what I
writ
do
of-
too,
to
walk
get the writ
over.
of possession. Yeah, that makes things go quicker.
Yeah, and they moved the door, so
Yeah,
to the
it's in a funny area now.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to jail.
Yeah,
me
back there in
too.
the back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So pay, you know, don't go into a shed and don't don't bring in back windows, and that won't happen. But yeah, they stopped evictions, but they didn't stop, you know, the actual with the squatters and stuff. They did not. So the squatters were like, you can't evict us right now, and I was like, it's open, and they wouldn't believe me, you know.
Yeah.
But
what folks are doing is they're just saying, well, you're not keeping the place up.
Right.
So they're terminating the leases.
Right.
So that's how they're proceeding with in my experience, that's how they're proceeding with the evictions.
Right. So we have the Pasco County Coalition for the Homeless. Beverly Harris, she's part of that. She comes on, and they have a big, they have a apartment complex that they've opened up, and that they're putting a lot of different people in, and they're having donations with household furniture and stuff like that to try to get a lot of, because there are more homeless, especially with COVID right now.
Yeah.
You know, there's more on the street, people on the street and stuff like that. So she came on in December and was telling us about her needs and stuff for the new area that they're opening up and stuff. And that, so if there is squatters, you know, we can actually help them out and stuff. Not just get them out of places, but get them into places, you know.
I think that's good, but you still have to deal with the root cause of why they're squatting, and that, from my observation, it's a mental health issue.
Right, true.
And we have to deal with that.
Right, it's true. So you know what we're going to do is take a little break, but you guys are going to be back in just a couple of seconds. Jessie Walters with Charles Rutenberg, and you guys stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. I'm Jessie Walters from Charles Rutenberg. I'm here today with Stephen Williams, attorney at law. Oh, Steve Williams.
Steve, thank you.
I did it again. Yeah, and you're grounded. No, I
Yes,
can't.
yeah. It should have been that nice.
Yeah. And so he's here today to talk to us about how to deed your houses. If you're homesteading your property, obviously you're going to put it in your name, and we talked about that already. And yeah, we're going to put up your information. So if anybody needs a good attorney, your information will be up on here too. But we were talking also, another thing is we were talking about how to deed your homesteaded property, but now let's talk about how to deed if you have a rental property. Do you suggest trusts?
No, I suggest what's called a limited liability corporation, LLC for short.
Right.
What I found that's the best way to handle rental property is one piece of property per LLC.
Okay.
And the benefit of that is whatever these properties are typically paid for.
Right.
So whatever the value of the property is, say it's $150,000, that's the maximum that someone can
Sue you for?
sue you for
Right.
regarding an incident that occurred on that property.
Okay.
And that's the benefit. So if you have, some people have 10, 15 properties.
Right.
Well, yeah, okay, so they have 10 or 15 LLCs, but on the other side of the scale, every scale has two sides. On the other side of the scale is the benefit of having all those LLCs. And
Right.
that is that you're limiting what the creditor, what the injured person, say you have a rental property and someone gets injured on the property and they want to sue you because they think that you created a foreseeable zone of risk.
Right.
And you should have protected them. You should have warned them about the hazard, or you should have fixed it. And they got hurt, so they sue you. Bad injury. Well, you don't want them getting other properties of yours. You want them
Right.
to limit it to that property, and by putting it in an LLC, one house per LLC,
You get that.
you
Yeah.
limit that.
And you probably get a good tax benefit then? Does it change do you still get to write off everything just the same?
Same tax issues, the depreciation and whatever repairs go into the house.
Oh, okay.
Those are all deductible.
Oh, yeah, so depreciation, you still get that? You still get
Depreciation's a
everything?
big thing.
Yeah.
That's a big consideration in real estate,
Yeah.
as you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was wondering, because I have a lot of people who, with the rental property, and like you're saying, if say you got into a car accident, and so the first thing the attorney's going to do is put your name in Pasco County, put your name in the property appraiser. Let's see what you own. Let's see.
That's right.
Well, first they're going to check your auto policy. They're going to check to see if you got an umbrella. Then they're going to check your
Interesting you mentioned that.
property
'Cause
appraiser.
I finished a case last year that was that scenario. We
Yeah.
had a lady who was injured that I represented, bad injury, surgery on her wrist, ulnar nerve injury, and person that caused her injury only had a $10,000 of what's called bodily injury liability.
Right.
So you would think that that was
Yeah.
all that there was available.
Right.
Which is not even enough to cover the emergency room bill.
Right.
She had
Exactly.
surgery,
Her
two
deduction.
surgeries.
But yeah, her.
Two surgeries.
Yeah.
So what I did though is we did some investigating. We found out that the person that injured her had 10 rental properties in one LLC. And a
Oh.
little nuance with LLCs is it was a single member LLC, which is different than a multi-member LLC. And those are more susceptible to being penetrated. So that's something you want to be mindful
Okay,
of.
the one member
A
LLC.
single member LLC.
Oh, okay,
So
got
he
you.
had a single member LLC, and because he had all these properties that were paid for in a single member LLC, we had to file a lawsuit, but we were able to convince him to pay her a fair amount of money for her injuries.
Right.
So because of that,
Because so he put it just
so he
in
put
his name.
multiple
so,
houses, multiple houses in one LLC.
So it made a
There
big
was a single
asset.
member,
Yeah.
LLC,
Yeah.
and those are pierceable. So
Right. Oh, okay. That's good to know. I mean, stuff like that, you never,
Little
you never know.
nuances.
Yeah. So when I was talking about trust, I got a kick out of this. I always have the, it's not,
Yeah.
when we were talking, I went on your website and
Trusts
it
are-
said.
trusts are
it said-
always fun.
Yeah, pet trust. That's what I got a
trust.
kick out of. So I do the SPCA obviously on here and the Humane Society obviously on here. And so everybody knows I'm a big dog lover. And yeah, your card,
Look at
I
my
saw you had a
card.
dog on your
Yes,
card.
yes.
So I saw pet trust, and one of my friends, she's single, and she was saying if she dies, she doesn't have any assets except these two dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said, if I'm lucky, because they're her pride and joy, that I will be left these two dogs. I'm sure,
Well,
yeah.
it's,
So I told her yesterday, I said, they have a pet trust, so you could actually get a trust
Mm-hmm.
for your pet. And she just looked at me like, yeah, right. But so tell us about what is that?
Well, pet trust is kind of, as the name would suggest, you have a pet, and like right now I have a golden retriever, and he's 8, so he's hopefully going to live a few more years. Well, if I had a puppy, and say I was in my 70s, I might think, well, it's going to be on my mind, well, who's going to take care of Duke?
Right.
Who's going to take care of Duke when I die? Because he's like family.
Right,
as
right,
you know.
exactly, yeah.
I mean, our pets we become attached to them, and I'm really attached to my golden retriever. So I've got to start planning. I have to I've got to talk to somebody. So I talked to Jessie. Jessie says, yeah, I'll take care of Duke when I die.
Right.
And I say, okay, Jessie.
I love golden retrievers.
So I'm
They're
going to, great. So we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Bring them
So
over.
Jesse's going to take care of Duke, and he's a handful. So I think, okay, I have to give Jessie some money to take care of Duke. Well, I don't want Jessie to get all the money at one time, so we create this trust.
Right.
And I'll put say $5,000 in the trust that's to be used for Duke's health maintenance and care. So I appoint a trustee. Maybe I appoint Duke's vet to be the trustee to determine how the money is going to be given to you.
Right.
And Duke gets taken care of. And I probably would pay for, I'd probably provide some money for just you putting up with Duke.
For Duke,
because
yeah.
he's a handful.
So when you're saying I put that money up, you're meaning like that
I
trust
fund it.
has a bank account?
When I die,
Right.
yes, when I
Okay.
die in my will, or when I create this trust, I put $5,000. Yeah, it has a bank account.
Right, okay.
I go to the bank and I open an account in the Steve Williams Pet Trust.
Right, okay.
And there it is. And then we
Right.
name the trustee on the signature card.
Right.
Trustee has the ability now to take money out
Gotcha.
to pay for Duke.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So
Well, it is. it's I can't tell you how timely it is.
Yeah.
As we get with COVID, folks are
Yeah,
probably owning dogs that never owned dogs before.
right.
As a matter of fact, I was looking on our breeder's website, and there are no retrievers. They're
Yeah.
all taken right now.
That's
And
that's when we do the show. We have a lot of call for fosters, and now's the time where everybody can step up because a lot of people
Yeah.
are still at home
Yeah.
working from home.
Yeah.
The only thing, not negative, but the only negative I foresee, if you didn't fall in love with your dog and you have to go back to work,
Well,
or you
that's
love your
gonna
dog, and so you can also
That's
with
gonna be
two
an
of 'em,
issue.
Yeah, you can also turn your dog back in to Humane Society to
and that's not
SPCA.
fair for the dog.
No, it's not. No, but we've had there was the week before the SPCA came on, and there was a dog, and she was a really nice dog, and she had jumped up, and she was like a pillow dog, and she got adopted out, but her mom was young in her 20s and had passed away, and so
Wow.
so the family came from New York, went to the SPCA and asked if they could place her, and they placed her right away. She's a really sweet, loving dog and stuff, so it turned out nice and stuff for him.
That's a lucky dog.
Yeah, really, yeah. So when we were talking about, I have a lot of people purchase a home where, in the state of Florida, a lot of people retire here, so there'll be someone who passed away, and we're waiting. So if they don't have any, any relatives, or they do, probate. So is it better to, because that's where I always thought trust, they would avoid probate, but when we talked, you were saying that sometimes it's better to pay the probate, right?
Well, yes, there's a court decision that comes out of Tampa, as a matter of fact, and comes from the bankruptcy court, that suggests that a trust or a house is placed in a what they call a living trust. That's kind of how everybody knows them, because these things are created while you're alive. May be reachable by the person who creates that trust, creditors.
Oh, okay.
Now it's one decision. It's kind of a loan decision, and it's by a bankruptcy court. But it's concerning enough that some clients don't want to run the risk that decision might be accepted by a state court judge, so they won't put their house into a trust.
Okay.
And there isn't a lot involved in probate with a house to start with. Usually the folks that I deal with, that I represent, that have houses that are in their names alone, usually will have children.
Yeah.
And we can administer that house through what's called a summary administration, usually pretty quickly, a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
Okay,
and
yeah, it's
at
not a long drawn out.
at a price that's about equal to what a trust would cost.
Okay, got you.
So it's and by keeping it in the person's name alone, maintaining it as their homestead, it preserves
protects
the
them from
protector
the
creditor's
creditors.
rights. Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you have a property that's that's a rental property. I know I have one client right now.
Put that in an LLC.
Yeah, put that on the LLC.
And then put the stock, register the stock in the name of the trust.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
one way to do it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I've got, you always have the stories, obviously. So I have one that her husband passed away, and and he owed money to creditors, and it was a rental property in his name, and he still has a mortgage balance. So I'm not sure what her attorney, and I won't mention any names about her where the property is, but she's keeping the property, and the attorney told her to just wait for a little while and then they'll do the probate? Because I guess creditors only
2
have
years.
2 years. Okay.
Creditors have 2 years, which is kind of an accelerated statute of limitations in Florida.
Right.
Most statutes in Florida are 4 years. Professional liability, well, medical malpractice is 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Other professional liabilities, 2 years, like realtor liability, 2 years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, pretty much labor,
but
2 years, right?
yes,
Yeah.
but most contracts are 5 years. Most negligence is 4 years.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, so she did advise her right then, because she's like, I can't do anything for 2 years, and then
but
she's
the
going to
problem is, if there's a mortgage on the property, that still has to be paid.
Yeah, she is paying the mortgage.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
doesn't really help with regard to the mortgage.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it helps with regard to other creditors.
Right.
So yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know, because, some stuff, you want to, and I'm not an attorney. I'm always like, well, I think it's this. But disclaimer, I'm not an attorney, nor am I a contractor when I walk in and start going, there's
But
a
you
crack
deal
right
with a
there.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot, but, it doesn't make you an expert. Just makes you kind of like red flag,
Gives you- yeah.
Yeah.
Alert
heads up.
you.
Yeah, heads up with stuff. Yeah, so those were that was some of the questions. And then I know with COVID right now, you said you're actually doing more wills than you ever have, right? Is that the most popular
We
thing?
are writing a lot of wills right now.
Right.
For people that are younger than our normal age
Yeah.
group. Like we're writing wills now for folks. Our office out by Starkey.
Right.
So and you know
054, but yeah.
yeah. So that
Demographic.
demographic
Yeah.
out there is young.
Yeah. Family.
A lot of
yeah.
folks in their 30s, a lot of folks in their 40s.
Right.
Matter of fact, the vet that takes care of Duke, she's coming in to have her will written.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
Yeah, I guess, it makes
it's
you.
just that time.
Yeah, aware of
people
your
are reflecting.
mortality.
People
Yeah.
are reflecting.
Yeah.
They're at home, and they want not just wills, but they want healthcare powers of attorney. They want healthcare. They want living wills. Not very many people want what they call a DNR, which
Right.
is kind of a lot of people don't understand the difference between a living will and a DNR.
Right.
And a lot of people are writing. I'm cautious about this, but a lot of people are writing powers of attorney.
Oh, wow. So on the DNR, funny story, totally off subject. I walk into this lady's house. I'm about to list it. And on the door, it has a DNR.
Actual not living will, DNR.
DNR. And then on the refrigerator, it has a DNR.
Yellow-
She has them.
yellow
She has
paper.
copies, yellow paper on the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Everywhere through the whole house. So I was like, so
I've
if she-
seen that.
Yeah. So I was literally like, I know CPR, but if she goes down, obviously she does
She
not
doesn't
want
want
any
it.
help.
No,
yeah,
no,
she's
I've-
ready to meet God,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I respect that,
I've seen clients put their living wills in there, post them in their kitchens.
Yeah.
Older folks lived alone,
Yeah.
so same thing with her.
Yeah.
Must have
Yeah,
had
she
a-
was serious about that.
Must have had a heart problem or cancer or something
Yeah.
that she didn't want
Yeah, that
to.
was.
Lou Gehrig's disease.
Oh, yeah.
Folks with that they don't want to be resuscitated.
Oh, yeah, true.
So-
Yeah. Gosh, I never think of all that. Gives me kind of like chill, but it's, I guess you have to be aware of what, your own, like I was saying, your own mortality, or, be safe, especially if you have kids and stuff, to try to set things up so you don't have a big whirlwind of problems,
And let me give you a tip when you're doing this. When you do your will, there's something called digital assets, which we all have these things, and
Right.
computers.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't leave access or leave the numbers, passwords,
Yeah.
login information, you could have auto pay that could continue to pay bills for 3 or 4 months before it gets stopped.
Right.
There's checks that are maybe getting deposited. There's information that's on your cell phone, messages
Right.
that can't be accessed. So what I tell folks is when they're doing their will, I have a sheet that I give people that talks about digital assets. That be secretive about it, because let's face it, we don't want everybody to find
Yeah,
this stuff.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
put it in a place where people have your access to your cell phones, computer login information, bank accounts, that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
that's true.
So it's really, that's the one, I think, tip that folks just don't even think about.
Yeah.
Kind of like a pet trust.
Right.
You just think
yeah,
it
you
over.
don't think of it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought that was like, oh, we got to talk about that. Nobody talks about that,
Those are the neatest things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I never thought of digital, but what I saw, I forget, it was on the television the other day, and they had someone's cell phone, and I think it was one of those, I always watch the, I Almost Got Away with It, and like all those shows that are like,
The crime shows.
Yeah, the crime shows. But I like the ones with the happy ending, where the guy gets caught and all that. But they had someone's cell phone, and they had to order from a judge to open up the cell phone to see where he was and all that stuff. And it took, I think, 3 months, because I think they think, well, because it's a big case going on, or you're missing, or but your phone's there, they can't just open it up. They have to have they have to go to Apple, if you're with Apple, and then get a court order, right?
And if you remember those folk, the terrorists up in Boston, Apple would not open their phone.
Yeah.
They would not give them access. That's why in our powers of attorney, we specifically provide that the person has access to their digital assets, the agent does.
Yeah.
And if you don't list those, if you don't have those someplace or give person authority to get that information, Apple's not going to let you have it.
Right, yeah.
We know that from past behavior.
Yeah. And so we were talking about POAs, and you don't like the power of attorneys?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Powers
Okay.
of attorney are a great document. You just have to be careful who you give them to.
Right.
I see we're close on time, but I'm going to tell you a real quick story. I represented an older gentleman several years ago who gave his power of attorney to his son, and the older gentleman changed his will so that he left everything from his son. He took everything away from his son, left it to his granddaughter. The son got wind of that. The son was up in New York. He flew down from New York, using his power of attorney, took all the money out of his father's bank account. We had to sue the son to get the money back.
Oh my gosh.
By the time that the son appealed, by the time that we were able to get the father's money back, the father died.
Oh my gosh.
Be careful about powers of attorney. They're really, really, and they're great documents because you don't have to get a guardianship, but you've got to trust the person you give them to.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Steve Williams, attorney, and we're going to put his information, his contact information up there. So if anyone needs some good advice or a will or how to actually make up a deed or any questions at all, just give them a call. Also want to thank Nightberry Title Services for being our sponsor. They're awesome. If anyone's selling or purchasing a home, make sure you call them. And stay tuned, because we're going to have SPCA on. We have a guest star. Her name's Belle, and she'll be here soon. Thank you. Hi, welcome back. I'm Jessie Walters with Charles Rutenberg. We're here today with Diane Oberlander. I almost killed it. SPCA, and we have a special guest. Her name's Belle, and she's beautiful. She's got little white boots on her, and she was all. Well, here she is. Okay,
right there she is.
Yeah,
You see
and
how
I got a
cute she
rope.
is.
So if you like to
Play tug.
wrestle with ropes, there you go. Now you can see her. She's full of energy. She's really cute. How old is she?
She's about 1.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see
Yeah.
she's got a ton of energy.
Yeah, she wants to play.
Yeah, for sure. She's like, go,
She got
go,
her
go.
rope. She's like, grab my rope. What did I tell you?
Yeah, I told you we're going to play tug here.
Yeah. So tell me, someone surrendered her. So tell me her story.
She was surrendered because she was like the last dog into this family, and the dogs were picking on her.
Oh.
So they
So
thought
they
it
had
would best.
more than one dog.
Yeah.
And then they were doing who's the domineering.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Her
she was just
color's
gonna-
so pretty.
Yeah, I know, isn't it?
It's like
She's
a
like that
gray,
blue
silvery
thing
blue-
going
yeah.
on.
Yeah, and she's got little white feet.
Little socks on her feet
yeah,
almost.
so cute. Yeah. So how old do you think she is? Or
So 1.5 years, she's like a
Oh, yeah, you said
staffy
1.5
mix
Yeah.
kind of thing, they said. Yeah, you know what, and she's
strong.
great. She would be great with a family. She's totally strong. So yeah, you
Yeah.
want to go rollerblading, something
Yeah.
like that. This girl will take you.
Yeah, she's muscly. So if you don't have money for an alarm system, she would make.
Oh, for sure.
She looks intimidating, but she's very sweet, very
Right.
very cuddly and
Yes,
sweet.
very much so.
So so here's
she
her cats. We don't know, but dogs, yes, for sure. Right? She doesn't attack She
Nope.
just got picked on with the dogs,
Yeah,
right?
she was the one being picked on.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at this action shot here with a little pink collar on.
Yeah, she's just a load of fun.
Yeah,
You know, it'd
she's
be
really
great
cute.
if she got a family who could actually, do the training for her, because
Yeah.
she's amazing.
Yeah, she's really good.
That's what she needs, just
Yeah.
someone to commit to her and do that, and
Yeah,
she'll
because
be
she's
great.
not. Yeah, she's not real. Her manners aren't that bad. She just is strong. Wants to pull you around. She doesn't
Right.
really know that she's not supposed to do that.
Right, or how strong she is for
Yeah.
that. Like, oh my
yeah,
goodness.
she's really strong. She's really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if someone wants to, so you're looking for someone for adoption, but are you taking fosters still now or no?
Yeah, we'll still do fosters. We're sticking to fosters for dogs that really need to benefit from
Right.
doing foster. She's in good shape. She's
Yeah.
fine at the kennel. If we could just find her a family and adopt her out, that would be perfect. That's the way we'd want to go. We definitely have dogs at the shelter that would probably benefit from a foster home.
Foster. So if so if you're at home during COVID time,
Yeah.
and you're working from home and you have time for a foster,
Yes.
but you're not sure how long you'll be at home, then it'd be great, to have actual, to come in and foster. When we have the Humane Society, and there was one that they had on too, and she was a foster fail, and so I said that's what everybody wants to see is a foster fail.
That's right.
Where you
That's
get
right.
them in your house and you can't let them go.
Yeah, exactly.
So that
That's
was
never a
nice.
bad thing, right?
Yeah, that's good to be a foster fail.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, she's so pretty and stuff. I could see that, someone, but like you said, I think she'll just be adopted out because you said she's good at the kennel and stuff too, right?
Yeah, so she has no, she's not stressed out in there, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And, she is new to the kennel, so, she hasn't dealt with all the barking and stuff like the others have. So
Yeah.
she's handling it really well.
That's good. So she's spayed, obviously, up to date on her
Yep.
shots. Good.
Yep, she's good to go.
She does I'm wagging her tail because she knows we're talking about her. She's so cute. Yeah.
She is.
She's like, what? Yeah. So her adoption. So you guys are doing it on Saturdays now,
Right.
right? And
Right.
Saturdays you can just come in, or do you still have to have the
By
appointment?
appointment.
Okay. All right. So appointment only Saturdays. And how much is her adoption fee?
She's 250,
$250. Okay.
and that takes care of everything. So she's good to go, chipped, vaccinated,
Right.
spayed, of the works. Yeah.
Yeah, so if, say, for instance, you lost her with a chip, you'll,
Yep.
so what happens then? Because, I always wondered that on the chips. Do they never expire, or do you have to pay to have them, updated?
Well, there's
or?
so many different kinds. I don't actually even know all the different kinds that there
Right.
are. I know we've had people who've caught a dog on the street. They'll call and they'll come out, and we have a chip reader.
Oh, okay.
So we're able to run it across them. If they have the chip, we'll know. And then whatever information is in there, we'll be able to call and find
Right.
it and hopefully
I know
reunite.
on the tags, I found a dog on Decubulus in Newport Richey. I was going to show houses, and he was running across all the lines of traffic. So I had him, and what the worst part is that these other people stopped, and he ran and jumped on their car and just kept scratching their car, scratching their car. It was a happy story, but yet a sad story. So I got him off of their car, and then I got the tag, called animal control.
Yep.
And the animal control, I gave them the number, and then they gave me their phone number, and then I called the people, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I guess they got." He got loose. So I literally got their address, and then
you drove there?
Yeah, I drove there, dropped their dog back off. Here you go.
Wow.
You miss and miss. Yeah, and they were like, "Okay, we work from home, so we didn't realize the dog got out. Thank you." And then I was like, and I said, "Well, he was on Decubulus, almost got hit by a car, just so you know." And they're like, "Oh gosh." And then
Yeah,
so they were
right.
so pleased to have him back. So if you tag your dog, or get the
Yes.
get
the chip or the tag.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it, because if you go
Oh,
on
yeah.
the Facebook, the amount of dogs that have gone missing the last
Lately.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can't
And
tell you the
stolen,
amount
too.
of surrenders we've gotten in
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
Oh,
too.
really, too?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of times, with COVID right now, a lot of people are downsizing, can't take
a
the
tough
dog.
time.
Yeah, your dog's over 35 pounds, can't take
Right.
it to rentals.
Right.
you know.
Exactly, because of the restrictions. Yeah.
Or you got to come up with you're already limited
yeah,
on
the
money.
fee. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, your dog or your pet fee. They have to
Yeah.
pay in apartments, right?
Yeah, I have one right now, and they were looking at the pet fee, and it was the pet deposit it's $300 extra, but then they added on monthly fee too for the actually pet rent, So for spraying,
That
fleas.
makes it hard, though.
Yeah, especially if you have more than one, you know. So so speaking of surrenders, if if someone needs to surrender, you guys appointment only.
Appointment only on Wednesdays.
Right.
And
okay.
Wednesday, we did change the hours though for that. Wednesdays we're doing 9:30 to 11:30 and then 2 to 4.
2 to 4. Okay, 9:30, 11:30.
So we're
2 to
adding
4.
times, yeah.
Yeah, so, oh my gosh, you are getting a lot then if
Yeah.
you're.
Yeah, we've been
So-
getting a lot of calls about it, so.
Oh, okay.
Sad but true, yeah.
So, and again, we talked about this before, but you have to make sure they're up to date on shots and that they're spayed or neutered before
Right.
you bring them in?
Exactly.
Okay, so if you care about your pet, obviously you want your dogs up to date before
Yes,
you
exactly.
surrender them and stuff. And you know that you guys are checking to get a good home,
Right, exactly.
So when I went in there, I was saying that before too. I went in there and I got my dog, and I thought I'd just go in and say, it's like I always think of it like credit. You know what I mean? So I have good credit. I'm a good person. Here,
Right.
And they're like, "Do you have another dog?" I said, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, he gets along with anybody."
Everybody.
Yeah. And they're like, "Go get your dog." So I had to go get the dog. So then go get your kids. So
Yep, right,
so I
the
had the
whole
dog,
fam.
the kids, everybody got along. Then they said, "Okay, now you can go."
Yes.
But they wouldn't let me because I thought they would just let me take the dog, but no. He was
No.
a puppy too. So
Yeah, you just never know. I
Yeah.
mean, your dog could get along with everybody, and then you could just have this one dog who
yeah.
he doesn't get along with her cat,
Right. Yeah, we don't have any cats because my husband's allergic, but I mean, I could see that, But
Yeah.
with her, we don't know if she likes cats. So you definitely got to bring your cat in if right?
Yeah,
To see.
we have
So
a
pretty.
cat building, so we have like a kitty
Oh.
cabana.
Yeah, so
and
you
so
can
we
kinda
have some
see.
outdoor cats
Yeah.
that we take care of. So we usually try and do a test by walking.
Right. See, oh, look at she's posing now. She sees herself. She's
Who's
like,
that pretty girl?
oh my gosh, you're so
Who's that?
beautiful.
Hi, who's that?
Yeah, she's like, all of a sudden she's a star.
I know. She's like, took a minute.
Yeah.
Or 6.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know about that girl in the mirror. She looks, but yeah, she's so pretty, and she's calm too. I know.
Yeah, she's calmed down, which is really nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, she's kind of like gonna rip this thing
Yeah,
apart
she's
here.
focused on her toy. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, so she still likes toys and stuff like that. So I know we talk about this every week, but some people are new. What do you guys need over there? What are we allowed to bring because of COVID? Like, what's your needs at SPCA?
Okay, so we can't, so people know, and it's unfortunate, but we cannot take towels or blankets or linens or anything like that right now.
Right.
And I know everybody has some, and it's so hard to
Yeah.
say no, but we have to.
Yeah.
Cleaning supplies are good, solid toys.
Right.
Like Kong toys or something that they
Yeah,
can't destroy.
Not the like fabric toys, right?
Exactly. Not those. They'll destroy those in 5 seconds.
Right,
Like
yeah.
ours at home, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so it's the same thing. So we're looking to get a little more time from the toys, and that's
Right.
usually,
Yeah, the ones you can put peanut butter in them too, and
Yep,
stuff like that.
exactly,
So it's good.
exactly. Or even lick mats is a new one we've been talking about at the shelters. Maybe getting those lick mats. Have you seen those? They're like a little square, circular, and they you could spread peanut butter or pumpkin on it, and they have to literally lick it out. Keeps them busy for a while.
Yeah, and I know
Just
you
kinda
said
good
pumpkin.
entertainment.
You like to
They
have,
like pumpkin, yeah.
Yeah.
Peanut butter, pumpkin, yeah.
and then we're on the dog food. You're on Purina,
Right,
And cat
Purina.
food?
Cat foods were pretty flexible on that, but yeah,
Okay.
Purina or kitten chow or cat chow.
Okay, and which brand is it for the dogs? Purina. Which
Purina, Purina 1, and it's the chicken and rice.
chicken and rice? Okay,
Wet and dry.
and then we were talking about too. I think last time I seen you, you guys needed soap, right? Laundry detergent was that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We always need that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we still need that.
Yeah, bring it in. We definitely still need it. Yeah. So, and then I know we were talking about her price for adoption, $250. How much are cats and kittens to?
Kittens are $125, cats are $100, but the same discount apply if you're a senior or veteran.
Right.
We would apply those discounts to cats, dogs.
Okay. So yeah, if you're a veteran and you get that extra discount or a senior, and then we were talking about, remember the senior for the senior? You get
Yep,
senior
the senior for the
double.
senior.
Yeah. So if you get
Double senior.
Yeah, you get a discount because the dog's a senior.
And you're a senior.
Yeah. So then it's a double.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, Bella's not a senior though. She needs someone super active, but she's a like I can just imagine her like going road trips and
Oh, for
biking
sure, and being like, "Hey, let's go
skateboarding.
hiking," and yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And her nose is amazing. You saw it. You witnessed it. Like she smells everything.
Yeah, she does.
Like I don't know. She can find stuff in your house you probably didn't know you had. with
Yeah,
that
we were
nose.
talking about that, just totally off the subject, but I was listening to the radio yesterday and it said about dogs that they're going to train for COVID. Not that she could do that. She could probably be PTSD or a companion dog,
for sure.
But so they're going to have dogs that so when you go to, I mean, this is off the radio, so I assume it's accurate, but
Right.
so if you go to like a sports event or a concert, they're going to have dogs that are trained to smell COVID. And they'll come,
amazing.
Isn't that neat? They'll come next to you.
There's so much not just family members.
Yeah,
They're
it's
so,
amazing.
yes, that
Yes.
is amazing.
So they said that they're not going to, the lady who does the training said that they don't double train them. So like if you have a dog that's trained for cancer, to say, and some people, it makes them aware of cancer. Like they can smell
Right. Right.
And then that dog also wouldn't be trained for COVID because they don't want, you know what I mean, them to
Mixed
get confused.
training, yeah, right, sure.
Yeah, and
they'll be
she's-
experts on whatever they're trained on.
Yeah. And she also used we don't want a dog that's a bomb sniffing dog to be a COVID dog because we don't know what we're too,
Yes.
which is that makes sense, So they're just being trained just for COVID, but it's amazing. Like you said.
I didn't even know that was happening.
Yeah.
It's really cool though.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So if you go to a concert or
and there's a lot of people.
and a dog comes sits by you and you think like you're
Oh, how cute, he loves me.
yeah, they know how great I am, and then they're
You
like,
have COVID.
yeah, you need to leave, ma'am. Yeah, we got problems. And you're like,
no,
oh no,
the dog loves me.
No, there's a dog coming with me. That would be me.
Yeah, right.
Do I
I'll
get to
take him
pet the
with.
dog before I go? Get in the back of that truck, man.
That's
I'm
right,
gonna
hop
be arrested
in.
for COVID. Yeah, so that's a new thing. That is a new thing.
That's really quite interesting.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, but so when we were talking about on the adoptions, oh my goodness, she's so cute. So we got the adoptions and then the surrenders on Wednesday. So
Yep.
if you're actually, you're
In need of getting
in need
rid of your
of dropping them off, that's fine. And then if you want to donate, and we were talking about Amazon
wish list or
wish lists too, yeah.
yeah.
You were double checking it, I think, last
Yeah, and they have it, and now there's an issue with our website too. So I think it's all being worked on.
Okay.
And hopefully it'll be back up soon because that's important stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
There's always so much to do, and like a lot of SPCA is volunteers, so
Right.
it's not like the cutting edge of technology with
exactly.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Quite the
I mean,
opposite.
yeah, yeah. You're like, we're doing the best we can.
We still got that mouse running
Yeah.
that wheel.
Yeah. All the dogs are being fed, washed, cared for. Yeah.
That's
we
right.
got like the old. I walk in, there's like the old PC. It's like this big, and then
Right. Yeah, you're like, you have to have a special desk
Yeah. Desktop. Yeah.
for your green screen.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, you know what? I also totally off subject, but I saw that someone had tied a dog to the SPCA or dropped a bunch of dogs off at the SPCA on the lost and found sites on Facebook. It had said that they were running outside. It looked like someone had tried to drop them off. There are a couple of them. So if you guys are wanting to, get to, I want to say donate, but to actually surrender your dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, get an appointment.
Yes.
It takes a little extra time.
Right.
But your dog's not going to get hit because Congress, where they're located, is a pretty busy road.
Very
so if
busy.
you're expecting, your dog just to, you guys open up
Stand
the door.
outside.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They don't know that that you're trying to surrender them in there. But if you make that appointment, go online, or if you're not savvy on the computers,
Right.
you can call. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Call the
You can
phone.
call. Leave a voicemail.
Yeah.
We retrieve them and we call back.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can make that date on Wednesday to surrender your dog. And then if you want to see one, you can obviously make that date Saturday all day.
Exactly.
So-
Regarding, in addition to surrenders, now we do ask that people have them vetted, vaccinated,
Right.
because they're going to go into our population, the cats and the dogs.
Yeah, you don't want to get all the other
We'll
animals
cut you a
sick.
break if it's the dog or cat isn't fixed. We'll take care of that. If they're not chipped, we'll take care of that. But the
Right.
vaccinations are really important.
So say I have a dog and I haven't done any of that and I bring it in, can you guys work out a deal price wise? Like I'm
the surrender
do you
fee
do
is
that?
$25. So
Okay.
what we would do is probably call, like, for instance, Pet Essentials is one that we really
Right.
love by Walmart.
Walmart.
It's an inexpensive one that people like to use. You're in and out.
Yeah.
We'll suggest people go there, get the vaccinations. We'll
then bring
take
them
care
back.
of everything else. And
Right.
yeah, and then
Yeah, because I know the one dog that you had brought in was just fixed, and you guys ended up doing that. So I guess depending on the ages of the dogs
right,
too, you know.
right.
And we also had our other little guest star. We found out he's younger, right? You're.
Yes, Wrigley.
We thought you were going to get a senior discount. Well, maybe still, right? He's
Right,
still
we
gonna
might just still have to do that.
He's probably so offended he can't tell
I know.
us.
He's so excited that he's like new and improved,
Yeah.
Mr. Wrigley. So yeah, now
a
he's
per-
8 and he has no nodules and he's healthy and happy.
Oh, that's great. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to have him back if he's not adopted. Hopefully he'll be adopted
Yeah,
before we see you again.
exactly, exactly.
That'd be great. Yeah. So, but she's up for adoption, and she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could just see her driving around in a car or to the beach or
Oh, yeah.
parks or
Nothing but fun with this girl.
Yeah, yeah, she's full of energy. She's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today. It's always fun.
course.
It's always great having you guys in. You know, we appreciate bringing the pups in, and we're always glad to help out and stuff too. Special thanks to Nightberry Title Services for being our sponsor. If you guys need any title work done, any questions about how to title your house or buying and selling, give them a call, and we're going to put their contact information up, and we're also going to put the SPCA contact information up too. So if you're interested in adopting Miss Belle here, she will be available. And thank you so much. You guys have a great week.